If your city is carved into a cliff, you're a daredevil. You are an architect of the impossible, a people who looked at a sheer rock face not as a barrier, but as a foundation. You defy gravity with every home, every walkway, every generation born hundreds of feet in the air. Your daily life is a testament to courage, a constant dance with the abyss. But what drives a society to such extremes? Is it defense, a spiritual quest to be closer to the heavens? Or was the world you inhabited so different from our own that the cliffs were the safest place to be? The sheer audacity of your existence whispers a story of a past far more complex and challenging than we can imagine. If your temple aligns to stars older than maps, you're a timekeeper, not just of seasons or of years, but of epochs. You track the slow cosmic wobble of the Earth itself, a cycle so vast it takes nearly 26,000 years to complete. Your stone and mortar are a celestial clock, built to outlast empires and speak to a future that has forgotten its own sky. You encoded knowledge of the heavens, a message written in granite and starlight. Why? Were you preserving a warning, a promise? Or were you simply marking your place in a universe whose true scale you understood better than we give you credit for? You weren't just watching the stars. You were in a conversation with them. If your ruins predate your textbooks, you're a paradox. You are a fact that doesn't fit, a piece of a puzzle from a box we never knew existed. You are the fossil found in the wrong layer of rock, the advanced tool in the hands of a supposedly primitive culture. You force us to ask the most uncomfortable of questions. Was our timeline wrong? Were there others before the ones we know? Were they more advanced, more knowledgeable, more widespread than we have ever dared to believe? You are not just a historical anomaly. You are a direct challenge to the story we tell about ourselves. And as we dig deeper, we find these paradoxes are not the exception. They are everywhere. Number 10, a submerged city with streets intact despite sea level timelines. Geologists give us a clear history of our coastlines. The last great melt, they say, happened over 10,000 years ago, swallowing the continental shelves. Yet we find them. Cities. Not just scattered stones, but plazas, temples, and roads, resting in the dark, cold silence of the abyss. Structures that, by all accounts, should have been built on dry land. But the timelines don't match. To have built these cities where they now lie, their creators would have to predate the flood, predate the Stone Age, predate our entire model of civilization. How could a society with the organizational skill to build a city exist so deep in a past we've painted as primitive and nomadic? It's a question our history books have no answer for. Number 9. A desert pyramid whose stones match no known culture. We think we know the pyramids, their sand-colored limestone and granite, a familiar icon of the ancient world. But then we find one that doesn't belong. Its stones are a different color, a different composition. Geologists analyze samples and find they don't come from any local quarry or any known ancient trade route. The masonry style is alien, the construction techniques baffling. It bears no inscription from the surrounding cultures, no familiar hieroglyphs to place it in time. It is an orphan of history, a monument to a people who seemingly appeared, built a masterpiece of engineering that would stand for millennia, and then vanished without a trace, leaving behind only this silent stone enigma. Who were they, and where did they get their stone? Number 8. An underground complex that predates metallurgy. Deep beneath the earth, we find not caves, but cities. Sprawling complexes with thousands of rooms, stables, churches, and ventilation shafts that plunge hundreds of feet to the surface. Archaeologists tell us these were carved with simple stone and bone tools. But look at the scale, the precision. Miles of tunnels, massive stone doors weighing several tons, perfectly defensible choke points. All supposedly hewn from solid volcanic rock before the invention of metal. The sheer manpower, the organizational effort, the architectural foresight required is staggering. It suggests a society far more sophisticated and desperate than we can comprehend. What were they hiding from? What threat on the surface was so terrible that an entire civilization chose to carve its world into the darkness below? Number 7. Colossal statues seated where no civilization should be. In the most remote, inhospitable corners of the globe, high-altitude deserts, isolated islands, impenetrable jungles, they sit and watch. Giants of stone, weighing hundreds, sometimes thousands of tons. They are figures of a forgotten authority, carved with a skill that seems out of place for the supposed cultures that made them. Mainstream archaeology often struggles to explain them, attributing them to small, local tribes. But how does a small, isolated population, struggling for survival, muster the resources, the manpower, and the engineering know-how to quarry, carve, and erect monuments on this scale? It's a logistical nightmare even with modern technology. These statues aren't just art. They are declarations of power and presence in places where, according to our histories, there should have been nothing. Number 6. An astronomical observatory older than written astronomy. Long before Galileo, before the Greeks, before the written word itself, someone was mapping the heavens with breathtaking precision. We find their work all over the world, in the form of stone circles, megalithic alignments, and horizon calendars. These are not primitive sundials. They are complex instruments designed to track the solstices, the equinoxes, the 18.6-year lunar cycle, and even the rising of specific stars. To build them required generations of observation, a sophisticated understanding of mathematics and geometry, and a way to pass that knowledge down without a single written word. It implies a science that existed for millennia before our official history of science begins. They were practicing astronomy when our textbooks claim we were barely learning to farm. Number 5. Precision-cut megaliths that fit together like puzzles. In the Andes, in Egypt, in Japan, we find stone walls that defy explanation. Multi-ton blocks of the hardest granite and andesite, cut with such accuracy that not even a razor blade can fit between them. The joints are not simple, straight lines. They are complex polygonal shapes that interlock with three-dimensional precision. Some stones have over a dozen unique angles on a single face. How did they do it? The official explanation is that they pounded these stones into shape with smaller rocks. But that doesn't account for the laser-like precision, the clean angles, the sheer scale of the work. It's a technology that seems to vanish from the historical record, leaving behind these impossible structures as a silent testament to a lost art of construction. Number 4. A road system spanning impossible distances. The Romans were famous for their roads, but they were not the first, nor the most ambitious. Across continents, we find traces of far older networks. Perfectly straight tracks, sometimes called ley lines or spirit paths, that run for hundreds of miles. They ignore terrain, cutting straight over mountains, through valleys, and across deserts. They connect sacred sites, ancient ruins, and mysterious landmarks with a logic that escapes modern surveyors. Who built them, and for what purpose? They seem impractical for trade or transport. Were they pilgrimage routes, energy grids, or something else entirely? They represent a level of continental scale planning and coordination from a time when humanity was supposedly confined to isolated tribal groups. They are a ghostly grid laid across our world, a forgotten infrastructure from a lost global civilization. Number 3. Artifacts in layers that defy dating. This is where the story of our past truly begins to unravel. They are called OOPArts, out-of-place artifacts. A sophisticated metal sphere found in a Precambrian rock layer, 2.8 billion years old. A fossilized human handprint from the same era as the dinosaurs. An iron pot found inside a lump of coal dated to 300 million years ago. Each one is an impossibility, a glitch in the matrix of geology and archaeology. They are routinely dismissed, ignored, or hidden away because they threaten to shatter our most fundamental timelines. But they exist. They are physical objects you can hold in your hand, yet they come from a time when, according to science, no human hands should have existed to make them. They ask a terrifying question: have we been here before? Number 2. Temples aligned to vanished constellations. We've already seen that ancient builders were master astronomers. But some of their greatest works point to something even more profound. They are aligned not to the stars we see, but to a sky that existed thousands of years in the past. The Great Pyramids of Giza, for example, perfectly mirror the stars of Orion's belt. Not as they are today, but as they were in approximately 10,500 BC. Many other sites around the world show similar, impossibly ancient alignments. This isn't just a coincidence. It is a deliberate message encoded in stone and aimed across a vast gulf of time. It tells us that the builders not only knew the 26,000-year cycle of precession, but they wanted us, in the distant future, to know that they knew. They were pointing to a specific moment in deep antiquity, a golden age or a great cataclysm that was the central event of their history. And number 1, ruins with inscriptions in an unreadable script. This is the ultimate paradox, the final silent mockery of our quest for knowledge. We find a lost city, a magnificent temple, a forgotten tomb. And on the walls, we find their words, the story of who they were, what they believed, where they came from, and where they went. It is all there, tantalizingly close. But we can't read it. The script matches no known language family. It has no Rosetta Stone to unlock its secrets. It is a library filled with books we can never open. The voices of an entire civilization, perhaps one that holds the answers to all our other paradoxes, are screaming at us from across the millennia, and all we can hear is silence. It is the most profound mystery of all. A message in a bottle we can see but never understand. Submerged cities, impossible stonework, celestial alignments, artifacts that shouldn't exist. These are not isolated curiosities. They are a pattern, a global footprint of a past that is nothing like the one we were taught. The neat, linear progression from caveman to astronaut has a growing number of chapters that have been torn out. The evidence suggests a human story far older, far more advanced, and far more mysterious than we know. History just got inconvenient. Are you ready to read them? Want part 2?